Hey guys, welcome to the Flowing Within podcast. Today we are talking with Bonnie here, and she'll be sharing her awakening experiences with us and what she went through, in her own process of self discovery and her own spiritual and metaphysical awakening. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Bonnie, hi, how are you?
Hi, fine, fine, great. I'm doing good. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me here.
Oh,
I'm
thank you for being
excited.
here. Thank you for being here. It's good to see you again, by the way, guys. I don't know if you know, we met in person at the Tucson Gym Show. What was it?
2020.
2020. Yeah, 2020. 2020. So that was almost two and a half years ago now.
Right.
Time flies. Um, Bonnie lives in a very special place. She's currently in Hawaii, or formerly known as Lumeria. And so, Bonnie, tell us what got it started for you. How did you get involved in the spiritual and the metaphysical? And just give us a quick background of your story, and we'll go from there.
Well, it started, I want to say it started in the mid 80s for
Wow.
me. And a lot of things were occurring. Usually when, you're growing through experiences and things start happening for you, that's when I figured out those are triggers, pinnacles
Yeah.
to your spiritual growth and understanding. But I had no clue. You
Mm,
see, back then I was clueless and I was just going through the motions of it all. And so with each chaotic experience that I went through, it's like an opening would occur for me, and several of my gifts would start bursting open. And it got to the point where so much of it was almost thrust upon me that I couldn't handle it. I didn't know how to deal with it. So from there, I would take myself to classes, read a lot of books, just to understand what was actually going on with me internally.
yeah.
Um, and so I would still go through a lot of different experiences externally on the outside of myself, and just try to move through it as best as I could without fully understanding it.
Yeah.
But the classes and everything, meeting a lot of different people in psychic things,
Yeah.
helped me quite a bit. And there came a time when my friends were only psychics. That's the bottom line. Most of them were psychics because they understood everything that I was going through, and they helped me to, move along and
Yeah.
move forward. Not quickly, but at a pace that I understood and I could, really deal with myself and deal with everything that was just coming down on me. So because I wasn't interested in any of this stuff.
Hmm.
I had zero interest at all.
Did you feel
My
like?
old, huh?
Sorry. Did you feel like it was kind of thrusted on you in your life? Like it all
Yes.
kind of came down like a snowball effect, but it was just a lot all at once.
Oh, that's exactly how it was. Um, my eldest brother at the time, he was so into all of these things, and he was into it when we were in high school. And I could care less. I mean, I was aware of it somewhat, but it didn't interest me at all. And so he ended up passing
Oh,
in 1989. And so as soon as he passed, everything was thrust upon me. Everything started opening up inside of me, and I was like, what's going on? What is this? you know
yeah.
it, it was just too overwhelming for me, to the point where I just I felt like I was going crazy, so I had to get a handle on it all. And so going through all of these different classes, talking to a lot of different psychics and becoming close to them and having a different type of relationship, not one where you go to see a psychic for a reading and this and that, because I really wasn't into any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know and learn what was actually going on with myself back then. Then I could get a better handle on everything, which eventually I did, but it took years for me, so and as the years progressed, more and more things started to open up.
I see.
But with that progression of openings and shifts in myself, things became more enhanced.
Mm,
So they changed, and it's like they morphed differently for me. Um, and all these different people that I did hook up. It's like, after you've been with a bunch of people and you've grown with those people, it's like the next set of either teachers or masters moves in and takes their place to help you and teach you. But you don't even, I wasn't even aware of all of that either. I was
yeah.
just going with the flow of things. I didn't want to resist anything.
Yeah.
um it was something that felt natural,
Yeah.
you
You're just
know
kind of going with the flow, being in the moment.
right,
I
right.
find that a teacher doesn't necessarily have to be somebody with that title. You
Mhm,
can learn. People can teach you things without them even being aware of what they're actually doing, and you
mhm.
just learn by observing or just by experiencing whatever is going on. You just absorb the information, and whether it's a person, place, situation, a thing, whatever it is, and
Right.
take that and you apply that into your own life and see how that kind of fits, and um, so some of the best teachers, on the planet or in your whole life may not even be somebody who has the title of a teacher. It may be just a situation that you encountered,
Hmm.
or something that you went through and experienced, and which helped
Hmm.
you grow as a person. Um, that's
Yeah, because we're each students and teachers,
Yeah,
and like
exactly.
you said, there's you don't necessarily need a title
Yeah.
for that, because teachers come in different forms, with different backgrounds.
Oh yeah. I um I've been doing the putting out spiritual and metaphysical and spiritual content on YouTube for the last couple of years, and I've learned so much about myself as well doing that, not just putting information out, but it's been a growing process for me just as much as anybody else that's watching.
Mhm.
It's you just have to open your mind up, I think, to the possibility. You know.
That's true. It is actually, it is an inside job when you think about it. You know, it
Yeah.
has everything to do with you, basically. Whatever is on the outside can shape you, if you allow it to. You don't have to take everything that's coming at you on the outside.
Yeah.
You can toss whatever doesn't work for you, but
Exactly.
that's how we all learn, and I'm still learning,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, it's self rediscovering,
Yep.
you know,
Which is why
everything.
I chose to name the podcast "Flowing Within," because you
Hmm.
only discover yourself by flowing within yourself and then flowing out. And
Yeah.
um, I do have a question, however,
Hmm.
not to get too personal, but was there like a specific event or multiple events that were very profound in your life that kind of triggered something to really like make you take that next step or open up your mind?
uh oh geez, there's several of them. There's just too many. um the most profound ones would be my parents separating, getting a divorce, and then immediately after that, my brother passing. So it kind of was like boom, boom, was like one after another. And you know, when I think back about all of that, it's kind of like putting you in the training
Yeah,
space. It's training you for more things to come.
exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
Not knowing, but um, just when you think, okay, I'm good here, then boom,
Yes.
something will show up. Something will hit you out of left field, and then you gotta, you know, I mean, that's like the story of everybody's lives,
Yeah,
I think.
absolutely. Uh,
Yeah,
ebbs and flows of life.
yeah. So in between those two, um, I had like connecting experiences that kind of like was so strange. It seemed strange, but it seemed natural. Um, but like for instance, like one of my best friends way back in the early '90s, I figure, oh, I want to go to her church.
Okay.
She's a Catholic, so I want to see what that's all about. I was throwing myself into everything and anything just to gather more knowledge, more experience. Um, and so I did. I went with her one day and I was like, oh, this is different, because, I have a background, a religious background as well with my family. And they're Mormons. And my girlfriend, she's Catholic, she was a Catholic. But I did go to her church that one time, and they have, different rituals. Every religion has different types of rituals, so it was new to me, and I just went for the experience, and it it opened my eyes when
Yeah.
I was there. What happened was I was sitting there and I just closed my eyes because she did it and everybody else did it, and there was this priest or I don't know what you call them, but he was up at the front and he was speaking in I don't know what language. um and I just closed my eyes, and then when I opened my eyes I saw differently. I saw with my spiritual eyes, and I couldn't believe what I was looking at because everything was different. It wasn't. I couldn't see everybody how I see you, like that, like this now.
Yeah.
I seen everybody totally different. The individual wasn't the individual at the very front speaking. It was just a super bright light, brighter than the sun, but yet your eyes, it was pleasing to the eyes. It was a warm feeling. And I looked around and I looked at everyone else, and everyone else was in their spiritual forms. And so some of the individuals were like walking up to that light. And immediately I knew what they were doing and everything. It's as if all of a sudden you're all knowing. You understand a lot of things right then and there. And so what they were doing were they were getting ready to come to whatever planet they decided to, and they chose their life. They chose every aspect of it, what they needed to learn, the people in their lives, and the impacts that they were going to, create together in helping one another learn from each other. I mean, a lot of information was flowing during that time, and I was pretty blown away actually. And so I came
Yeah,
out of
that's a
that.
lot.
Yeah, I came out of that, and I told my friend, and my friend looked at me and she said, "Why don't I see that? How come I didn't see that?" I said, "I don't know. This just kind of happened. I didn't will anything, or I didn't do anything to, you know, let this occur. I
Yeah.
just I just let things go and went with the flow."
And that's all you
And
can, and that's perfect. That's all you need to do. I think.
yeah.
Um, one thing I noticed, actually, Bonnie, when people are waking up, and I saw this back even in like 2010 when I was really first getting into it.
Mhm.
People, we come from a kind of like a logical, cerebral, like everything has to be mechanical and linear or something mindset. Everything has to be step by step. When it comes to the metaphysical, the spiritual, um, it doesn't work like that. You have to just kind of go and flow with it, like you said, and you just kind of have to be, and whatever happens, happens, and
Right.
that's how this operates at its most like optimum, capacity. Is that's how you're flowing the best, when you're just kind of letting it be. You're not trying to force anything to happen or see any. You're not trying to force yourself to really do anything or see anything. You're just sitting there and you're just being, and you're just flowing,
Yes.
and that's
Yeah.
all. And when that happens, everything opens up. And but
Mhm.
people, I've seen people, especially the more cerebral people that are more like logical, like engineers and people, mathematicians. They're trying to force it. Okay, this step, because that's how they've been trained their whole life to think.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's a good point that you brought up, because it's something that can really help somebody take that next step in their own metaphysical and spiritual development, their own awakening, is just to remember to keep that in mind, to just kind of let it go, and just let it be, and just
Yeah, exactly. I also learned that even though, my family, they're religious and stuff,
yeah.
but I no longer
Hmm.
go to the church. I would fall in and out periodically of it, and then I would just put myself back into it and see, okay, maybe there's something there that I'm missing, and each time I went, I felt out of place for some odd reason. I felt like this isn't your place anymore.
Yeah.
Um, I tried my best to kind of sort of fit in
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
you know, but you know, to my understanding, it was my parents, my family that started it. That was their choice. It
Yeah.
wasn't my choice.
Yeah.
So
Wasn't
you
your
know
path. Yeah.
yeah, so eventually I said, okay, I'm gonna try and make it my choice and see what happens. And each time I went, I was like, there's something wrong. Why? And then I came to the conclusion that I outgrew it for
Yeah.
some odd reason. I'm not saying that I'm better than,
No, absolutely not.
than
Yeah,
that,
it's just
or whatever. It's
yeah.
just that, I my thinking is the source creator, God, of whatever you define it as, is everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not in a box,
Yeah.
and man usually has rules and laws, and he's everywhere. He's infinite, he's eternal, and everything else is infinite and eternal. Just that our mindset becomes programmed after a while, and then you kind of like just stay in that box for who knows how long. Now, there's good things. I'm not bashing
Yeah.
religion or anything like that.
Just
you
wonderful
know
people. And
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly, but it's not for everyone.
No, it's not. Yeah.
Because everyone can find that source
Yeah.
on their own. That's the beauty of free will.
Exactly. Yeah.
We have free will, so you know and all paths lead to, it's
The
like a tree.
same, yes, the
Yeah,
same
dif-
destination.
different branches.
Yeah.
That's it. you know and so, yeah, even though my aunts keep trying to get me to go back, but it's like, oh, yeah, 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 not really. But yeah, and then I would end up having these missionaries come over to my house every so often, and talk to me about stuff. And it's funny because I end up teaching them more about all there is
Yeah.
than just being in a box. I mean, I don't I'm not mean to them or anything
No,
like that,
absolutely not. Yeah, you
and I
offer information, and uh,
yeah, I just, approach it with the greatest respect,
Yeah.
to them, and just leave it at that. It's
Yep.
like planting seeds,
Yep.
basically. And that's what I like to do. I like to plant a lot of seeds, and
That's
not really
knowledge.
force my influence on anyone or impose anything, but
That's
just
good.
throw stuff out there, and if it works for some,
Yeah.
it works. If not, just toss it.
Exactly. Because this
Yeah.
awakening thing is not for everybody either. Um I realized that in the beginning that not everybody is going to be waking up in this lifetime, and
Mm.
so it's
Or
a
maybe different times.
yeah.
I think sometimes they're
Yeah.
waking up. But I noticed too that there's a lot of different realities occurring at one time. So people's minds are in different things,
Yeah.
you know. And so, but I don't know. I think it's best to have an open mind with a lot of things.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the only reasonable way to operate today is to keep an open mind. Remember that there
Yeah.
might be a possibility of much more than you might know of.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, so that's yeah, that's
Yeah, because you can end up, you can become more aligned to a lot of different spiritual things,
yeah.
um, and be more balanced. The thing that I do the most is I put myself in an observation space and
Okay.
observing, but I don't only observe what's outside of me. I observe what's inside of me and see how I would respond and or react to things or not.
It's very
Because
important. Yes. Yeah.
you don't really need to respond or react to anything.
No, you don't. Yeah. No, you don't.
And that's powerful in and
It
of
is.
itself.
It is.
Yeah.
It's self-awareness. Is what that is. I spoke of it before too, where it's like part of a big part of this journey of your awakening is actually just looking within and
Hmm.
internalizing but what you just said, how you react or respond to a certain situation or how it affects you, and being aware of all that is absolutely wonderful and
Yeah.
necessary too. Um,
Yeah.
so Bonnie, fast forward to today.
Mhm.
What are you up to today? Let's talk about your connection with stones and crystals as well, because you have a big connection there with the crystals. Um,
Mhm.
could you touch on that a little bit?
Oh God, yeah, I love stones and crystals. I've been connecting with stones and crystals for 30 years.
Wow, longer than I've been
Yeah.
alive.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's been a long stone journey, for me. I had no clue that you know it was gonna be this long, with stones. But I really love it. I really love it. Even that has morphed,
Yeah.
with different types
Oh
of
yeah.
stone. And they're always coming out with new stones as well. They're finding new stones. But alongside of that, there's a lot of fake stones too.
Yeah.
You
There's been a
know.
big market for fake moldavite, as we all know these
Oh
days.
yeah, well, a lot of different stones.
Yeah.
Like the video you put out
Oh yeah,
about.
the misconceptions. That's right.
Yeah. So you need to really be aware of what you're getting when it comes to minerals and stones. And to me, I feel like you need to really know your stuff, because especially if you're going to be spending a lot of money,
Yeah.
so if you can connect with the stones energetically, that would be a bonus. And not very many people can do that, because energetically you can connect through a photo, um, you know, long distance with that stone. You can have that stone relationship, um, with any mineral anywhere in the world, and you can see it. I mean, a lot of people don't recognize real citrine.
Yeah.
A lot of the citrine out there I see is all dyed and
Heat
heat
treated.
treated, and stuff. And people are just gobbling that up. I'm like, oh my gosh, these people are doing their homework. That's not the real stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so knowing the basics, I think when you're into crystals, you can start off with the basics of understanding, read a lot, do a lot of research and homework. There's a lot of information out there on the YouTube, on the web,
Oh yeah.
everywhere. A lot of books to for me in the beginning it was all books. Didn't
Yeah.
have no internet.
Yeah, you didn't have internet. You couldn't just Google something.
Yeah, so that's like old school kind of research, and stuff, and find these bookstores tucked away in these residential areas that nobody heard of and stuff, and they're like all this type of books, so yeah, just doing your homework, I think, is a good start. Although there are a lot of great classes and courses out there, and you've been teaching them too,
Oh,
right?
I know those were so much fun.
Mm.
I did the Stone Energy events up right before when COVID became like a thing and they canceled all the events. But I did it for about a year and a half, and oh my gosh, it was great. I would go into a stone shop and I would tell them, "Hey, I want to have a class here," and they would work with me, and we would advertise it, and then so like we would schedule it out for a month, and then when the time came, everybody would come in, and at first it started slow for me, but it picked up.
Mhm.
I had like 5 or 6 people at first, which is still a lot. I mean, 5 or 6 people showing up a, a class. It's your first time hosting it. Like when I remember when I first did this, I was so blown away that anybody would even show up to listen to me talk about stones. I was like, wow. It was such a humbling experience. It really was. But then it grew, and we my biggest class was like 30 people, I think, in one big bookstore in Silicon Valley. Big beautiful
Wow,
bookstore. Yeah,
30 people.
it was yeah, I was
Wow.
and like the class would go for an hour. I would talk about what stone energy, how it helps you, and then I would hand out a free piece of stone that would come with the class. And then okay, I would tell everybody, all right, hold it with your fingertips, like this is how you feel it. And then we give them like 5 minutes to do a quick little meditation to feel it, and then we would talk about it. And I was so surprised at the overwhelmingly positive response I got from people that were coming to attending these classes. I mean, these were professionals. These were doctors, engineers, you know, software designers. These are very professional people coming and feeling stone energy and actually saying that they felt something, which was amazing, which was so cool. Uh,
Wow.
it was such a nice experience. It really was. And then when COVID came, everything was shut down for like a year and a half, and that I was just kind of bummed out. But um,
Mhm.
it was an awesome period of my time doing that, where I really got to connect with people. Now, granted, there I didn't make any compensation, financial compensation at all doing it, but it was fun. It was great. It was fulfilling. It's not all about making a buck. That was definitely very very fulfilling for me to be able to talk to people and do that. And um, yeah.
Yeah, you are actually working with the logical mind people.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, because the places I was going to, the people were working like mostly in tech and as engineers and stuff, and I was even surprised they would even come in, honestly. Like I was surprised they even had an interest in this stuff. you
Oh,
know
that's incredible. That's
yeah.
incredible.
It's interesting when you go do these events at different places in different cities, and you get a group of people and you just kind of feel the energy. You kind of scan their heads and see where they're at mentally, and they're all different. They're all different. Some people are
Mhm.
more some places are more creative, intuitive minded people, and then you have other places that are more logical and very just like uh, mechanically minded people.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it was very interesting. I very much enjoyed that. But anyway, that was maybe someday I'll pick it up again in the future. I'm not sure. Uh, at the moment, I don't have much time for it, but it was fun. It was definitely fun. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
So we know. So tell me what you've been up to recently, as far as the spiritual and the metaphysical work goes. What's been kind of, like capturing your interest, and what is there anything you're looking forward to in the future, perhaps?
Um, well, over the years I have taught classes as well.
Nice. What wait
And
what
work with this shop here, this crystal shop here. There's several crystal shops, and a couple of them I had my jewelry in,
Oh,
my
nice.
stones in. I think one shop had my paintings.
Oh,
Another shop has both the paintings as well as my crystal stuff. Another one is just, well, had both as well. Um, yeah, yeah, all of that. And then, you do the work from home as well,
yeah.
and you sell stuff from home. I did have a website, but I kind of put that on hold because early in 2021, all my accounts got hacked.
Oh, no.
So yeah, so I was like, "Ugh, I don't want to do anything except cash basis. That kind of really kind of scared me a bit because it was just horrible. The whole thing, the whole ordeal. I could feel myself hyperventilating when that actually happened. But at the same time, I was getting things handled, and working with the banks, working with PayPal, working, with everything connected to my business and stuff, and just getting things squared away because, I mean, money was taken from my bank account as well. It's like, what? And then I was being charged left and right through my PayPal, like hundreds of dollars. Like each one was just going up like crazy.
Oh,
So I had to fix all of that, like within a matter of minutes, and change everything really quickly. That took a lot out of me during that time. So I kind of like, after that, I've been kind of low profile. Um, Not sure how I'm gonna do things, because it's like you got to do things differently now. You have to continually change things up. You can't do things the same way that you used to,
always have
especially
to
if you're,
change. Yeah.
yeah, especially if you're finding that nothing's moving.
Exactly. You have to change it up. You have to do something else. You have to get creative.
Yeah,
You have to be dynamic. You have to be flowing. You have to be open to.
you have to do, a lot of times you got to do things differently because a lot of people are doing things the same.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be in that boat with everyone else.
Yeah.
So you got to reinvent yourself. You got to remarket yourself through everything, just doing things differently. What makes you stand out from the rest,
Exactly.
you know, and
Like that.
all of those things. So I had a couple people selling stuff for me, and I would give them a percentage
Oh, nice.
as well. And whatever residents that did do business with me and purchases, I would have them pick it up.
Oh,
I wouldn't drive anywhere.
yeah.
I would just have them pick it up. But on top of that, what made that occur for them to do the pickups is that I had to take care of my husband.
Yeah.
Uh, he's very sickly. Um, he has his moments and his days, but he did, a couple years back, he had a brain tumor.
Oh,
So I needed to take care of him, and I did. And where I was working before, I took off a couple months off, to care for him. And then, as the years progressed, he got better, but then, he started getting other conditions. And he's not into crystals. It's like, okay. So, he's into the pharmaceutical stuff, not the alternative stuff. So, you know, and so I just gotta allow his path, to take its course with him and not force him, but be there,
Yeah.
you know, be there for him no matter what, and do whatever I can
Yeah.
to the best of my abilities and stuff. So that's been keeping me real busy a lot. But on the side, I've still been able to do side things.
Awesome.
And yeah.
What would you so with all that you've seen and experienced over the years, you have a lot of knowledge and experience. What would you recommend? What would you recommend for somebody that's going through the awakening process right now, and the spiritual and the metaphysical awakening? Um, what would be your best advice to give to somebody that's going through it? Maybe they're having an up and down, moments in their life. What I guess what would you say out of your wisdom that you've accumulated throughout the years?
I would say find support.
I support.
Um, if you're not strong enough within you, which most people aren't, I've found out that you gain a lot of strength by moving through all of your
Oh
experiences,
yes,
and
absolutely.
you learn and you grow from them, um, and you can apply what works for you with the next one and the next thing that comes and the next. Not saying that it will, and I'm not saying that it won't, but support, I think, is really key here. Because most of these things that occurred to me, I basically had no support. So that was telling me that I needed to tap into that strength myself, because there was nobody that I could really turn to. And it was telling me that you already have that strength in you. Tap into it.
Yeah.
Keep tapping into it. But if you can tap into that strength, do so, as much as you can, because there's an endless well of strength within everybody, I believe.
Yeah.
So if one person can do it, so can everybody else.
I think
But
finding
there's.
support is probably the
Mhm.
best thing for people to hear. Um, because you're right. It's like it's
Even if it's
hard.
taking a class, even
Yeah,
if you're taking a class, talking to a friend or a relative.
exactly. Yeah.
Some people need to go to therapy. Hey,
Yes.
if it works for you, do it, because
Absolutely.
ultimately you're helping yourself.
Yes.
You need to help yourself and know that there's so much help around you.
Yeah.
You just gotta look into all the different areas and places.
Some people fall into a trap of thinking that they have to do it all by themselves. That
Mm.
they are this, really strong, tough person, but in reality, life can be so much smoother and not as, uh just rough and hard when you have support from people around you that you love and care about, or that love you and care about you, whether it's a friend, a family, your partner. I think if you have that, and you are so fortunate, so lucky if you have that.
Mhm.
Because I really resonate with what you say, because I'm like, I know I'm much younger than you, Bonnie, but I've also a lot of what I've gone through has been just
Yeah, you've gone through a lot.
by
Actually,
myself.
yeah, for
And
for
and
your age, you've gone through a lot.
and I and I look back and I think, damn, it would have been so much better. It would have been so much smoother if I had somebody around, to talk about, or to talk to. And over the years, I've made friends, awesome people that has stuck around, and I'm talking to them now, and they're really cool, good people. But it really, that's such a you hit the nail on the head. I think finding support is really,
Yeah, for me
yeah,
back then it was almost like taboo to even
yeah,
talk
yeah,
about these
yeah.
things, versus today, it's
Today
more
is much more
open.
open.
Yeah, yeah. So there's no reason not to find support.
Exactly.
Mhm.
There's people out there. Yeah.
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 But you went through so much. I
Uh,
think for
I
for your age. I mean,
it's
what
it is what it is.
I mean, when did you start?
So I actually started in 2010, 2010, 2011. This is right
Mm,
around the time I finished high school. I was going to junior college, and I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, but I started looking up spiritual topics, metaphysical and spiritual topics, books, videos, information. I don't know why. I was so into it. I was like a sponge. I was just like, oh, give me all the, like I want it all. And it just grew from there. I met, throughout the 10 years, I think 10, 12 decade now, I've met so many people, uh, along the way, and it's really been quite the journey. It really has. But I think I'm still young in all of this. I think I'm still very fresh and very young, and there's a lot for me. I'm only 30 years old, and there's a lot for me to learn in life, and I think it's important to really, just like you mentioned earlier, keep an open mind, and just keep an open mind, stay humble and thirsty for knowledge, and just but keep an open mind to the possibility that there might be more out there,
mhm.
than whatever thought process that people might just want to adhere to, and just say, okay, that's it, and then that's all they want to believe in. Um, I
That's
really,
okay. That's okay though. That's
it
okay
is,
if they want to be there, it's where they need to be.
it is absolutely, yeah, it is.
So
Uh, well, thank you, Bonnie.
sure. Thank
Thank you.
you.
And if anybody wants to reach out to you to say hi or anything, do you have an email address, social media, maybe? Uh,
Um, you know, I actually have two channels on YouTube.
oh, there you go, guys.
Um, so one is the Ascension Alliance Hawaii
Okay.
channel. And the other one is
One.
Hawaii Preppers Network 808.
Oh, nice. I'll tell you what. Send me the links, and I'll attach some of the two links, on the description below with this
Yeah.
video. So if anybody wants to reach out and say hi or check out Bonnie's videos, go right ahead and do that.
Yeah,
And
the prepper one, the Hawaii Preppers one has all to do with preparedness. And
you do
so
live in
I'm
Hawaii.
yeah.
Okay. Oahu. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes, on that
Cool.
island.
Paradise. Cool.
Yeah.
That's actually a great thing to be aware of today, especially. Um,
Yeah, but not get too overwhelmed by that either,
yeah,
because a lot of people, there's a lot of people in that reality, that sometimes is too overwhelming.
you mean you don't have your underground bunker, your
Oh, heck no.
your
No such
your your
thing.
underground bunker that can survive a nuclear blast
No, no,
out in the
that's
middle of
not gonna
Texas?
happen. It's not gonna happen here. We'll be blown out of the water, period.
Yeah, it's true. Hawaii is, you guys are
Yeah,
islands.
yeah, we're islands, so yeah, I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
Well, I
But
guess we'll see.
yeah, but I'm basically keeping aware of everything because we are humans
Yeah.
too, so it's like balancing everything. You gotta balance all different aspects, and stuff, and not get
Absolutely.
too overwhelmed in a lot of stuff. So, you know,
True. Absolutely true. All right,
I'm
guys.
like,
Thank you so
stones, you're
much.
stones too. Don't
What
get
was
too
that?
overwhelmed. Don't get too overwhelmed in your stones.
Oh my gosh, it's too late for that. Look all around me. I'm actually in the process of making the Denver Gym Show haul video. So I got a lot of
Oh,
yeah, I've got a lot of stuff to show people. So yeah, well,
looking forward to it.
absolutely. Thank you so much, Bonnie, and thank you guys for tuning
Thank
in
you.
on this episode of Flowing Within. And if you guys also are interested in coming on and talking and sharing your experience, please let me know. You can send me an email. I'll have all the links below with Bonnie's YouTube channel. So I welcome anybody to come on. This is what this is all about, is different people coming on and sharing their experiences on what they went through waking up, and in hopes that it might inspire or help somebody that's watching or listening. So thank you guys, and I'll see you guys soon.